Good morning. Another day. We got to treat some wheat this morning. Apparently the cleanup crew has moved in. Look at all the geese out there eating all the soybeans that we may have lost. Alright, well, I was just talking to Phil a little bit. He's finishing emptying up the beans trucks from last night, and we're putting them in the bin. They've all been dry, right at that 12, 13, up to 14%, which is about as good as it gets for putting them in the bin. We really don't want super dry beans. You lose a lot having over dry beans. So anyway, we've got to treat some wheat because the field we are going to combine today is getting planted to wheat, and I do not have it treated for it yet. So we need to go do about 10,000 pounds. The wagon is already down there, everything's there and set up. We just got to run it through real quick. This might, probably not, but it might be the last wheat that we have to treat. I had one customer say he might have another wagon to bring me if he can get his beans out in time to get it planted, and we may need just a little bit more for Berkey. I've already got a bunch treated for down there, but I don't want to have extra, so that's where we're at with that. So let's get this done quick, and then we're going to do a little bit of combine maintenance this morning. We've run enough that we need to get the grease gun out and hit the 50-hour grease zerks, and we need to check some tension on some chains and stuff, just make sure we don't need to tighten anything up, or tighten it up if we do. So, but let's get this wheat treated. I'm letting the chemicals mix in there. I wanted to come out here and look at my sweet corn. I don't think this stuff is gonna make it. We have had a little bit of frost, and our leaves are browning up. I don't know if that's frost damage or disease. It's got a lot of tar spot in it. I planted this like the 24th of July. It was just I was putting up the fence on the first stuff is what it was, and I had this little section from there to there that wasn't planted. I'm like, oh, what the heck, let's plant it, see what happens. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna make it. I didn't think it would, but it was worth a shot. It's close. We'll let it keep going. I'm not gonna mow it down just yet. I could probably take the fence down though. Treating. Same as always here. Turning wheat red. If you're curious about this process, I've made several videos about treating wheat back in the middle of September. We're putting a fungicide on them to protect the seedlings, basically, in the seed. Vibrance Extreme, but you can go back and watch the other ones where I talked about it more. Glass box. This is just a short one. There's only about 1,500 pounds in it versus the 2,500 in those. But that's all we'll need for today. Like I said, we might need a little bit more. There's still a lot in this wagon. But whatever we don't need and plant, we'll just sell it for grain. I needed to take a little drive. There's the target field of the day. They'll go. There are probably some green ones along the back, along the trees, but they'll go. And then there's these that are, nope, them are not ready. They are quite green yet. Those ones, gonna be a few weeks. Well, we might as well start the day off getting covered in soybean dust. Time to blow the combine off a little bit. Well, I killed the battery on the leaf blower and got super dusty in the process. It's not clean, but it's better. Anyway, here's our greasing maintenance sticker. We're hitting all the 50-hour ones right now. The 400s are basically once a year type thing. So we always hit those in the winter after we go through the combine. And there's not a lot. The rotor drive up there, there's one. There's one on the inside we got to get from up top, and I think there's a couple on the other side. And then the final drives in the front, which are way tucked back in there. Got a broken guard. Gonna change that here while we got time. And that's it on the bean head. We got everything greased. We'll get her unhooked, fuel up the combine, wash the windows, and we'll be good to go. Washing windows. Oh, there comes some of our fertilizer. Sweet. Oh, super clean windows, except for all the dust on them. But we're ready to go. Phil's following me with the head. We're heading to the field. We're on kind of a busy road here, so we gotta do a quick quick header hookup so we're not blocking traffic, and we'll get started. Okay, here we go. I'm going to say this again and hopefully again be wrong, but these should be the worst beans that we have combined yet. If these are 70 bushel beans, I will be absolutely blown away. This is a tough farm. There's a big wet spot down there over the hill that you can't see where there is nothing. Also, these were planted much later. I need to look up the exact planting date, but they were not planted in April. Right here we've got some 2.2s, I believe, and then there's some 2.8s or 2.9s in the rest of the field. I don't know, we'll see. But this field is going to wheat. If you've been watching with me for a while, you'll remember last spring or last fall, we had a really tough go around trying to plant wheat. About the 10th to the 12th of November, I was out in this field finishing planting it. We had gotten rained out about the 6th of October, about this time last year. It started raining and it stayed wet the entire fall, and that second week in November was the first chance that we got to really plant wheat after the first week of October. And so we did it. We planted this field. It ended up not making it. We tore it out and planted beans with the idea that we're going to try again. So we will be planting wheat in here this afternoon. Hopefully it makes it this year. All right, we're getting the end rows done. These are not going to be 70 bushel beans, I don't think. They'll be over 60. 58 on the end rows is good. I'm going to ride back with Phil. We're going to get the grain cart. He'll bring a truck over, and imagine he'll run cart for me for a little while we're getting this field opened up, and then once we get enough done that he can plant wheat, he'll go get the drills and start planting wheat. All right, we're getting stuff opened up here. Phil's helping me run cart. We don't quite have a full truck yet. So here's that big wet spot that I was telling you. Those beans all drowned it out with some of the rains that we had mid-spring, late spring, early summer. I don't remember when, but there was water in there multiple times. This spot is just about lower than the river over there, and there's just the water comes up and it takes a long time to get away. But once it does dry up, it's dry. Like, we can drive across it no problem right now. So we are lifting the head up where there's no beans, because there's no reason to run all those weeds and cockleburs is what they are through the combine. So it's going to inflate my yield numbers a little bit. You're going to have to adjust for the whole field to include this area that's not actually getting harvested, although that's not really the variety's fault. So when I'm combining, I try and, there's two different sets of data, right? There's the variety compared to one compared to another, and then there's the whole field averages and yields and stuff, and well, they're not figured quite the same. So we can always add acres in. It's harder to know how many to take out, so I try and just combine the beans and use that yield number most of the time. But anyway, these beans are not bad. They're not bad at all, actually. Yeah, wasn't expecting this kind of numbers, and these are good beans right in here, and we're not going to be as good as what we have been, but I would not be surprised to see that field average creep up to 70, be in the low 70s instead of the high 70s. You can see our round total here right now is at 68, and by the time I get down here and do some more of this good stuff, I imagine it's going to creep up. So yeah, that's awesome. That bodes really well for those beans and some of the other later planted ones that are still too green to combine. They should be really good as well. We may have, it is getting more and more likely that we will raise the best soybean crop we have ever raised across a large number of acres. Like, at field farm average is going to be better than ever. So that's awesome. Tree down. Don't combine the tree. In fact, we're just going to go around that one. I probably could drive over it, but we're going to go around it. All right. Well, we got that first truckload done there full, and Phil and I both went back to the farm. We got his truck moved down here, and then I went back and got the semi, and the plan now is for me to just combine, dump it into the cart. We're going to fill up the cart, we're going to fill up the truck, and then we're going to have to go and unload them and empty them and shut the combine off for a little while. So we're on our own here for a little bit. That's okay. Phil should be down here anytime with the air seeder and get this started going to wheat. Dad's ripping the corn stalks that we shelled over the weekend right now. When he is done with that, If we're still combining here, he can run the combine and I can run trucks and it'll go a little bit faster, but it's what we've got for right now. There he is, he's chasing us. Getting the wheat planted. He didn't have a whole lot in there. There was a little bit left in the air seeder from the last field. And it's a different variety than what we wanted to plant here. Not a big deal that we're planting two varieties. And that one is the earlier of the two. So he wanted to get the air seeder empty and plant it out before he got into the stuff that we treated this morning for this field. So I did get the truck full. And now we're going to fill the grain cart. Moved everything down a little bit here. And then we got to stop and go unload stuff. But we, on the combine here, are 40 foot wide. Phil over there is only 30 foot wide. And he may drive just a little bit faster than we do, but we should be plenty far ahead of him to stay ahead. So it'll work out. It'll work out. Dad called me. He broke a bolt on the ripper, so he had to come back and get a bolt and some wrenches and stuff. And now he might make it here, but he's probably not going to make it here before we are done. So I think we're on. I think we're on our own. See this dark spot right here? Those beans had white mold in them. This is the field that I saw more white mold in than anything else. These are a 2.8 bean, and I don't know if this one is a little more susceptible, and that's why we saw it, or it's possible. I should look at my records. It is possible that they did not get treated with heads up, because I had a few boxes that did not. Phil planted all of the beans, and I don't know that we have good records of what seed treatment got planted where, but if there was some 2818s that I did not treat with heads up, and I have that record, pretty good chance this was it. And that stuff seems to have been working on the white mold, unless of course these had it on it, and then, well, we still got white mold. But it is not terrible. You know, and the beans are still really good, like really good for as late as they were planted, but you can see it's reactionary, right? So we're always a little behind. So you can see there that yield dropped from 70s down to the mid 60s. So we lost 7-8 bushel an acre in the spots where the white mold is probably. But they're sort of isolated. There's pockets here and there, but not a lot. I can see some over there. There's a dark area that's probably some white mold. There was a spot back here that had some in it, or I guess it was over there. So yeah, not a huge deal, but something that is there. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I don't see any of the sclerotia, the like rat turdy looking stuff in the grain tank. But you see, we've got a few green pods. Every now and then, like right there's some green plants. They're fine. They'll blend off. The beans are dry. They're 13.4. But there's some in here that are green yet. And it's just kind of weird how they're so uneven. That's unusual. All right, well, we're full. And apparently, Phil is empty. He looks like he's going to get seed, and we got to go empty trucks. Yeah, that's where we're at. I tell you what, so the other night, we were combining beans, right? Phil comes on the radio, and he says, our dryer's on fire. Kind of induces some panic. You get a little adrenaline. Trying to make a video here. Anyway, you run around and do some things, and you feel no pain, and you just do it, including climbing up in a dryer that is literally on fire. It's 150 degrees in there because it's a dryer, and it was 200 until you shut it off. It's hot, it's humid, it's dark, you can't see. Climb up a ladder, hanging off the side of it, trying to get a hose in there. Doesn't bother you at all. You do what you got to do, right? I hurt now. My legs are so sore after that. And I noticed a little bit yesterday, but today it is worse. Climbing up and down that combine ladder. Oh, I'm feeling it. Okay, we're back at the farm dumping this first truck. I pulled a sample. I just thought I'd look at it. We'd talk about stuff a little bit. One, look at how many green ones there are peppered throughout, but they're dry. We'll test this and see what it says. But you get these big lima beans that are wet, and you can see we've got some green pods. Green pods are extremely difficult to get out of a sample. So there's a few. They're not terrible. But yeah, look at those big ones. So, and then this black stuff here, you see this? Or in here, that's that stuff from the white mold. So that's how you can tell that you've got white mold. You can see all the big ones here. It's interesting, but let's see what they test. Also, while that's testing, some of these beans don't look very good. We've got some shriveled up, kind of moldy looking ones, and you can see they're just off in color a little bit. So this is a thing, all right? I'm going to tell you some trade secrets that you're not supposed to know, I think. Or most people do know, but maybe don't realize. But there apparently has been a big to-do in the last couple of weeks about Enlist soybeans being discolored, okay? Enlist soybeans is the herbicide platform, trait platform. There are two different herbicide trait platforms, really. There's probably more than that, but there is more than that. There's two main ones, Enlist versus Extend Flex. For some reason, something I haven't followed it exactly, but maybe there was a boat somewhere that got a barge that got rejected or something because the color was off, and they're blaming it on the Enlist beans. Look, it's not the trait. Traits don't cause discolored beans. Genetics do. It could be the genetics, but it's not the Enlist trait. But anyway, so these beans that we're combining, they are 2-8 Golden Harvest bean, and I have always thought this bean had discolored beans. They just look terrible. I notice it in the seed when we get them in the spring and we plant them, the clean, good beans coming straight from the company. I have noticed it in the beans that we have harvested of this variety. This is the third year in a row now that we have grown them. Now, most Golden Harvest soybeans that we are selling now are proprietary genetics. Most of them. This 2-8 is not. It is one of a couple that is not. And what that means is that we have licensed it from another company, and therefore other seed companies likely have licensed it as well, and it is being sold, the same genetics, in multiple seed companies' bags, right? That happens more than people realize, or that I would like to have happen, that you can buy the same bean in a Golden Harvest bag, or maybe a Stein bag, or maybe a Beck's bag, or maybe a Seed Consultant's bag, who knows, whatever. It could be in lots of different brands. I think, my theory here, this bean has been so good that a lot of brands are selling it, and there's just a ton of it out there, but it has that crappy discolored kernel, and it's not necessarily the Enlist platform, it's that set of genetics, this set of genetics. So if you're planting a 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 bean, Enlist E3 bean, non-proprietary genetics to whatever seed company you're buying it from, there's a chance it's the exact same as what I'm planting here, especially if the beans don't look very good. Now, does it matter if the beans don't look very good? Well, it hasn't, or it shouldn't, or not really, but if your elevator docks you for it, then yeah, it kind of does matter, doesn't it? We have not had any issues with it. It's not something anybody's ever complained about when we've hauled beans in. I hear that has been an issue, being docked for soybeans of color that are different than they're supposed to be. Personally, I think it's soybeans are worth a lot of money right now, and so they're looking to discount any way that they can. And having beans that just have this off color to them, let's dock them for it, right? 14.5. Yeah, we had some wetter ones in there. So you can just see like these. They're just off a little bit. They just don't have good color. So anyway, it is what it is. Okay, we got the truck unloaded. Now we have to unload the grain cart and then go unload the truck again. And then we can start combining again. We do have close to 50 of the 78 acres done though, so we'll do this, and then I don't know that we'll be able to finish it before we'll have to unload them again or not, but we won't have to do it too many times. It is 3:30, so we'll be fine. We're gonna get this done. I don't know if we're gonna get anything moved to Berkey or not tonight, but Phil's planting and Dad's chiseling anyway, so yeah, it's fine. We're doing fine. Loading. Unloading. Don't overfill it. Dumping the truck again, and I was doing some sweeping up, and I remembered that I got several questions in the last couple of videos about red dog. I keep talking about red dog and it getting packed in them metering holes and stuff, and what is it? Well, this is red dog. Kinda. Let me show you. So this is Red Dog mixed in with some corn fines. Some people would refer to it as bees wings. You may have heard that term before. If I could find a cob, a whole cob of corn, I could show you a little bit better, but all I could find was this little broken one. Okay. So the Red Dog is basically this chaffy stuff that comes off from where the kernel's attached to the cob. See each one of them little holes there. Come on, focus. Is where a kernel was. And that Red Dog kind of just sticks in there and it attaches to the kernels. You can see like this kernel right here, if I can pick it up, and you can't see anything because it won't focus. Come on. You can see there's a little bit of it attached right there. That stuff just works its way off, and as you dry it, it comes off of those kernels and just flies out of this dryer everywhere. There we go. And it makes a big mess. So that kind of mixes in with the fines. The fines are just broken pieces of corn. All of this stuff. That stuff gets super sticky when it gets wet. The Red Dog just sticks to everything when it gets wet, but it's really light and fluffy. But yeah, that's what it is. It's why our driveways turn red during grain drying season. Back combining, we have 48 acres done, so we've got right at 30 to do, although a little less because we didn't combine all of where that big wet hole was, and there's some stuff in the back that we're not going to combine because it was too wet to plant or it drowned it out. We do have, there's some area that we farm around here, and there's, yeah. So that would be this part right here. We've got a bunch of rows in the back here, a little bit up front. We're almost up to there. Yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, you want to see something cool? Check this out. Check this out. So you can see I got two maps up here, right? So I figured out yesterday when Niles was riding with me, he seems to be an expert with the John Deere stuff. I didn't ask him why, or I don't know exactly, but I figured out that I can actually do split screen, which I knew, but I can do split screen with old data. Like this map that we are viewing is my fungicide application map from August 2nd when we sprayed the Miravis out here. Like that is really cool. So from now on, when we get into some fields where I have some of these splits and different applications and stuff, we can pull it up and know exactly where we're at relative and watch the yield map. They can't overlay and do the data analysis stuff on here like we can do on the computer, but still, that is really cool. Really, really cool. So yeah, I'm excited about that. These beans are good. They appear to be about 10 bushel off from the earlier planted ones, and I attribute almost all of that yield difference. This is a crappy farm, but most of that yield difference to planting date. I think had these been planted in April, and if this ground was drying enough to plant in April, we would have done so. It was not. That's why it didn't get planted. That's why this is not that good a ground, because it's not tiled and it's just, yeah. But because we couldn't get the beans planted on time, yeah, we gave up 10 bushel. Instead of 78, there's 68, 67. I mean, those are really good beans. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out what I'm seeing. Well, I was doing some ends and I had a spot that started pushing, and now my draper belts on the side are running slow. I think I got some stuff caught up underneath the draper belt. Yeah, I shut it off. I don't see anything in there. Something's slowing it down somewhere. I'll have to look. Well, I'm not sure what was causing the side belts to slow down, but I spit all the crap out from the center section and then it went. So I guess we're good. We're doing the ends around this curve here, and then we gotta go up to the cart and dump, and then the cart's gonna be full, so we might go empty that into the truck and bring it back here and park it so we don't have to keep driving back and forth so much. Well, we are almost down to the end here. I'm pretty sure we've got room between the cart and combine to get this done. We've got quite a elevation change here. You guys can't see it, but it really drops off, and where there's weeds there, that's kind of an old river channel that's the low ground there, and it drowned it out. So we got some weeds over here. It's clearing it back. Nobody can see them, so it's okay. Just don't put it on the internet. Just grind them out. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Combine can't even tell. It's Can't even tell. Hit this spot extra hard with some herbicide next spring because we're spreading a lot of weed seeds right now. Oh well. All right, we are done here. Sweet. Time for the big move. So we are heading to Berkey. So for those of you not familiar, don't know, we have our home base here. We're based out of Waldron, Michigan. We're right on the Ohio-Michigan line. My dad and uncle grew up in Berkey, Ohio, which is right outside of Toledo. It's about 35 miles straight east of here, and we still farm about just under 600 acres there. So we kind of have two separate bases, and well, we're moving there because we have beans ready to go there, and we don't have any more beans ready to go here, and we're going to plant wheat down there, and it's time to move. So it's kind of a lot. It's a process to get everything there. We've got to get the combine there. We've got to get the head there. We've got to get the grain cart there. We've got to get the trucks, 2 trucks. We've got to get the air seeder there. So that's at least 6 things. We've got 2 wagons of wheat that have to go. We've got another big red wagon that's empty that needs to go down there, and maybe a seed tender. So we've got a lot of stuff that's got to make that trip, and I'm hoping that Dad's done ripping and back around the farm, and him and I at least can get something down there tonight. Maybe he can take the head with a pickup, and I'll take one of the trucks or something, and then ride back with him. That way we'll have some stuff down there. But tomorrow morning, Brock is supposed to be around. Him and I will probably take the combine and the grain cart, and then maybe Phil can bring a pickup with something and pick us up, and we'll come back and get the other truck, and we'll get the air seeder and pick up, and then we can get down there and start combining. So it's just going to take a little bit of time. 67 field average. Obviously, that does not include the wet spots that we combined around in the front and the back there. But if you would have told me the first field of beans we were going to run was going to be 67, I'd have been so excited and thrilled that I couldn't even begin to tell you how awesome that would be. And here we are. That's the worst beans we've run. I am so happy with that. Like, we'll see. Are these our worst beans? I don't know. It's possible. It's maybe unlikely, but it is possible. So yeah, well, actually, our Berkey beans are going to be worse. I do know that, but around here they may be our worst. We will see, but that is nothing to complain about. Nothing wrong with raising 67 bushel beans. That's incredible. So, all right, I'm going to walk back and get that cart because I wasn't quite able to get the combine empty, and a full cart will fit on a truck. But I don't know if a full cart and that will fit on a truck. So we're going to take that cart, we're going to top off that truck, which is full, but there's a little room in the front that I might be able to get enough to get the combine empty, and then we can get it all on one more truck. So that's the plan. Did you guys see my shirt today? It's not my shirt, but they have them on farmfocus.com. You can go buy one. I don't know if Brian's stuff is 22% off or not, but mine is. So go get yourself some Borderview Farms merchandise while you're over there at farmfocus.com. Use code HARVEST22 for 22% off your order, now through October 15th. Get your Christmas shopping done early, because I'm sure that everybody on your list is going to want a Borderview Farms t-shirt for Christmas, or a hoodie. It's cold at Christmas time. Get the hoodies. Thanks. Air seeding. Look, I found a rock. Splash. All right, we're gonna get this truck unloaded. Just called Dad. He is on his way home. He is done ripping where he was at, so that's good. He can help me get some stuff, at least move home from the farm if we're not gonna make a trip to Berkey tonight. I would like to make one, but we'll see. I just looked up my treatment records on the beans. I had 2 boxes of those 2818s for our farm that I did not put the heads up on. I had 6 that I did put the heads up on. So I had some of both, but it is very, very possible that that field got the 2 that did not get the heads up, and that's the white mold, where we saw the white mold. I have not seen it in any other field. And most of my beans I put it on. I probably put it on 90% plus. So we need to keep an eye on that variety really, really closely as we're combining the rest of it and see if we see any white mold in them. Because if not, that's a pretty good indicator that our heads up worked. It's not a true side-by-side and a real good strip tile, but it's anecdotal evidence that it's probably good enough. I was just about to head out, and then I saw Dad coming down the road. I've been pulling the first driveway over there, so I decided to wait for him. He can ride down with me. He can bring the truck back, and then I can bring the combine or the cart or something so we can start moving stuff at least back to the farm here. If it fits, it ships. And it fit. Okay, cart's empty, combine's empty. Dad's getting ready to drop the head. I'm gonna have him just take the truck and then see if he's willing to make a trip tonight. And I'll get the combine ready to go. Oh, she's pretty. Okay, I'm gonna clean off our feeder house here. Dad is taking off with the bean head for Berkey, which is awesome. We don't really like moving equipment in the dark, but we do have tail lights, and well, it makes tomorrow a whole lot easier if we get a little bit of stuff down there tonight. So he's gonna take that. I'm gonna take the combine back to the farm. I'm not driving this down there tonight. I'm gonna jump in one of the semis, and we're gonna take that down there, and then we'll both come back tomorrow, and it'll make tomorrow getting everything down there quite a bit easier. All right, we're gonna go in just a second. I started the truck up, we'll let it build air. I'm gonna make a quick stop at home and see my boys, who I hear are missing their dad. It's been a long couple of days, and they're back in school, so they haven't been able to ride with me. So I'm gonna go say hi real quick, and then we'll go. Semis go faster than pickups pulling bean heads. What do you gotta do, Rylan?
I have to bring 3 more tractors to the parts store.
Which one has to go now?
The case.
Yeah, we have 1 red tractor. It has to go to the parts store. That's a bummer. How are you, boys?
That's mine.
No, I have then 2 more John Deere ones.
Oh, okay.
One of them doesn't fit.
Oh, she's
Let's go. We made it. We're just gonna park this on the pit out of the way, and then we're heading home. All right. Well, we had a decent day. I mean, we combined 78, 80 acres of beans. That's not huge, but Phil got it all planted to weed, or he's finishing up now. And we got a little bit of stuff moved to Berkey, and we're gonna go tomorrow. It's gonna take a little time yet to get stuff moved. We're gonna have to make 2 trips, so we'll take the combine and cart down first, and then come back and get some other stuff that'll go faster. But hopefully by noon, we're combining beans. Brock will be around to run cart. We should be able to get well over 100 acres done tomorrow. Maybe 150. I don't know. We'll see. But that would be awesome. So hopefully the beans aren't too awful, terrible down there. But I expect our yields to start with a 5 and not a 7. If they're a 6, I'll be thrilled. So thanks for watching today. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Harvest content keeps rolling in. We're probably going to be combining beans for 3 days down there to Berkey, and then we're kind of out of ready to harvest beans. So we're likely going to stay there and do the corn, get back into some corn footage. So anyway, have a great night, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow morning.